Hey guys, what's up? It's GVKcollectibles, and today we are going back to Reach to remember the fallen heroes of Noble Team. We are specifically going to be taking a look at Emile from the Wicked Cool Toys Spartan collection line. What's up, guys? As I said, today we'll be taking a look at Emile-A239 from the Spartan collection. Okay, this is Emile from Halo Reach, of course. Probably one of the best well-known Spartans, I think, from that game. There's a lot of well-known Spartans in that game, but I think Emile came out to be definitely the fan favorite. As you can tell, I already got the figure out of the packaging because, as you guys saw in the little intro there, he was already out of the packaging. But basically, this is the same packaging we've been getting through the Wicked Cool Toys figures, like with the Master Chief, the Jerome that we've reviewed on the channel, of course, and the other figures too, like Cat, the Mark 7B, the Mark 7 and the Mark 5B. So it is very cool to see this kind of window packaging, and it's also got the newly embroidered UNSC logo right there. It's kind of hard to tell just because of the lighting, but you can definitely tell it's there. Then you get Emile with accessories and everything. Then you get a cool profile shot here of Emile, a product shot really, and he looks really, really good too, which looks really, really cool. Then here you got a good profile shot of Emile, basically. And it's really, really cool because he comes with the M45 shotgun, Kukuri knife, and additional hands, of course. He doesn't have too many accessories as opposed to, I think, the previous figures, although it's about standard. I think he comes with his iconic knife, his shotgun, of course. So it is really, really cool that you get to see the other figures in the wave. So you get to see Jerome, the gunner, who I also have, which we may do a review on. I haven't decided yet. Another version of the Mark 5B. This guy actually comes with an energy sword, and the new the Series 2 Master Chief, which I think is kind of a newly updated one of the Chief in terms of like how solid the articulation is. I was debating actually to get this guy, but luckily Wicked Cool Toys, which you'll see a review on this, of course, when it eventually comes out, but they came out with a 20th anniversary pack of it. Has the Mark 5 Master Chief from Halo Combat Evolved, and his new appearance in Halo Infinite, and the paint apps on the Infinite one looks so much better. So yeah, and then you get the top, you get the UNSC at the bottom, then you get nothing really at the you get the UNSC logo at the top, and you get nothing on the bottom, Halo, everything. So with that out of the way, let's get Emile out of the packaging, or let's take a look at him. Regardless, because he's already out of the packaging. Here we have Emile out of the packaging. Well, he's been out of the packaging, and I gotta say, it's a really, really cool figure. I think it is really, really well done. There is a few things that I did notice, like this right here on his left shoulder. He is missing like the little pattern on it, but other than that, I think it is a really, really great figure. Wicked Cool Toys all continues to show that they are very much improving this Spartan collection line in terms of like how the articulation is, because one thing I think I did complain about in the original Master Chief figure, and even some of the subsequent ones that I have gotten, that the articulation on a lot of them is really, really, really loose. So, and like the Jerome, this one, Emile very much, and Series 2 in general, has very much fixed that, of where these figures don't feel as loose. They feel a lot more solid with their articulation. The paint apps are really, really good on it. Like, he looks like how he does, despite the little error right there. Although I don't know, I would have to check on the other ones to see if that is just mine or if that's just with all of them. But either way, he is a super, super cool looking figure. He's got his shotgun, his curry knife, the helmet looks absolutely beautiful. He does come with a few accessories, as always with these Spartan collection figures, so we'll jump into that before we jump into the greater details of the figure, the articulation, size comparisons, and ultimately overall final thoughts. You guys know the formula with Figure Review Friday, so with that out of the way, let's get onto the accessories. As I said, Emile comes with a few accessories, very much like the other accessories, so let's get the small ones out of the way. He does have interchangeable hands. I think he has up to 5, which is a very weird number. So you get a closed fisted hand, and you also get, because there's both of these, there's 2 right and a left fisted hands. There is this left gripped hand, which I think he actually has on the figure himself. I actually popped it off to make him look good in the pose, but it looks really, really good. Holds the shotgun really in place where you can hold it, but the shotgun's relatively big. You got a stop hand, Actually, 2 of them are right and left, which look really, really good. I haven't been getting the details on them. They got like the gray paint that he has on his armor, which is really, really cool. And also a lot of cool sculpted detail in it too, which I think is really, really well done, I think, on Wicked Cool Toys part. The hand looks really, really good. Nothing too much to say. And like that's a crazy thing of how well these like hands are really sculpted, I think, in my opinion. They look really, really awesome. Look really, really good. Really well done. Really like them. And of course, with his 2, but yeah, then he's also got, very much like the other Spartans, he does have this kind of go-go sign hand, which it looks like. This is the one I posed with the Master Chief, so he can grip his assault rifle a little bit better. It looks really, really good. Yeah, not much to say. Like, a lot of good painted detail in him. Anyway, let's get on to the main. Here he has his kunai, which looks super awesome. It's super cool that they included this. It looks really, really well done. Not too many paint details. You got the brown kind of on the grip here, and really not too many paint detailing or apps on it, like no silver dry brushing or anything to make it kind of like look like it's a blade, make it look like it's sharpened. But it does look good. It does the job, I think, for what it is, and it's actually really, really cool. Unlike the McFarlane figure, you could actually store this within the sheath of the blade, which is really, really cool. And his main weapon, of course, Emile's main weapon, is the M45 shotgun from Halo Reach. This, probably one of my favorite shotguns. I really love the Halo 3 shotgun. It is personally one of my favorite, but this guy is really, really cool. I love the unique design. It looks very militaristic looking, as opposed to, like, the other shotguns, but, like, this shotgun is just iconic, and like the Halo shotgun in general is just so iconic because you actually you load shells at the top, and that was the first time I ever really saw that on a shotgun in a video game. So it kind of blew me away, of just how cool the design of the gun was. It looks really, really cool. But you got I think they've along with the Jerome, they have been doing a really great job of doing updated paint detailing for a lot of the weapons. Like I think I said with the Master Chief, there wasn't really a lot of paint detailing on the assault rifle, and clearly that has been changing, especially if that 2-pack is to go anything by. It looks a lot more accurate to what the assault rifle looks like now in Halo Infinite, and it's kind of cool just because you also get to see that with like the sidekick and everything, which is really interesting because I bet those figures, like the first Master Chief we see, that's very much based off the gameplay we saw last year. So, and it doesn't look as refined, but the newer ones we see now, like the 2-pack Master Chief, and there's actually going to be another Master Chief that comes with a commando rifle and the grappling hook too, which is going to be really, really cool for play features, but like the detailing on the armor and everything looks a hell of a lot better. But yeah, shotgun looks really, really good. Like with all the Halo weapons from the Wicked Cool Toys, they are a bendable plastic, which is really, really good, so you can essentially get these into the gripping hands a lot easier. They're not like the hard plastic like the McFarlane figures. While the McFarlane figures were really greatly detailed, I figured those ones would actually break a lot more. They were like, that's the thing with the McFarlane figures. They really, really look really great and beautiful figures, like the Spartans and everything, but they're very brittle and their articulation necessarily isn't the best. Although, like at that point, I think articulation wasn't really a concern from Todd, but now that's, that's all kind of changed. But yeah, that's a shotgun. So those are all the accessories he comes with. And just do a quick little show here. Here's a Q-knife, and you can just shove it into the sheath, which looks really, really good. Really like that. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into the greater details of Emile himself. We have everybody's favorite skull Spartan. I remember seeing Emile for the first time in the reveal trailer for Halo Reach back in like 2009, I think, for the Video Game Awards back then, and it was super everybody, I feel like, gravitated towards him just because he had very unique armor. He has his EVA helmet with his skull sculpted on here, which looks fantastic. The detailing on it looks really, really great. They have this kind of unique, the silver paint right here to kind of show the visor is kind of worn. He has some, in my opinion, Emile has one of the best looks in Halo Reach, and a lot of the armor, the Noble Team in general in Halo Reach have a lot of great, they're well designed, really unique, each of them are unique. And of course you have Noble 6, who's your character, so you can be whatever you want. For me, I'm usually an ODST whenever I'm playing Halo Reach, and that's my main armor to go to with, but it's really, really cool. I love all the little details in here. So I actually did confirm, so all the Wicked Cool toys actually do have this kind of black painting. They are missing the like the paint, like the actual pattern detail that's like white here on the shoulder, which I'll post a little picture above just so you can guys get a quick look of like what I mean. But like at the same time, it's not a deal breaker for me. I mean, these, I think there's a few things that you'll miss, and also this is like a $20 toy, so I'm not like complaining at all, because this is actually a really good figure for $20. It's really amazing. But yeah, you get a lot of cool, so you get the kind of gray detailing on the armor itself, and you also get the EVA with the little visor. The little attachment looks really cool. Really love it. Then you get the also like his brandoilers essentially right here, like all the for like the grenade launcher and everything when you're in the Pillar of Autumn mission, which is really cool. He has one of the cool, I will say, Emile has one of the coolest deaths in Halo, though, where he is stabbed and he's like, "I'm ready. How about you?" But like he has one of the coolest deaths. I feel like he was a character, like, even though you know it's like everybody in Halo Reach, with the exception of June, of course, is going to die. You kind of don't want to. You get attached to these characters and don't want to see them die. George, especially for me. But yeah, it looks really great. I think the upper chest looks really wonderful. The helmet, the sculpt, because there's actually a little bit of dry brushing, not just on the silver part. There is actually some dry brushing on the visor, the actual visor itself. The actual kind of this yellow kind of gold, not gold. I don't know what to say, like kind of bronze looking color, which looks really cool. Then of course you got his shoulder pad right here with the Q knife, which looks really awesome. The paint detailing on it, the red, looks really good. I love how they kind of match the aesthetic of Reach, of where a lot of the armor is like really worn down, really gritty looking, really militaristic, and you kind of see that with this, of where like you see the detailing on it is like kind of shining away, which is a big departure from like say something like Halo 3, of where a lot of the armor in multiplayer, and just in general, with the exception of really Chief, a lot of the armor is really shiny and really pretty. And of course, this is the one that I actually use on my ODST guy, on my actual Spartan for Halo Reach. This pack right here, which is really cool. I love the idea of like the armor in Halo Reach, of where you had these kind of multiple. I think this is a little inaccurate, although I'm not completely sure, because I think it's normally black, so they did. But having it being this brown color is a really cool touch, and it deviates from the rest of the figure. It makes it stand out from the other figures. Then you got the red going along. So yeah, you got a lot of cool details, and you got his shotgun bandolier right here, which is an attachment you can get. Silver, a lot of good like silver paint dry brushing to make it look like it's the armor's damaged and like scraped up, which looks really cool. I personally really love the EVA armor. It's really cool. I know a lot of people had a problem, but I think this is the definitive version of EVA. I think it looks super fantastic, looks super great. But yeah, it looks really great. Also, another thing I wanted to mention with the detailing and everything, like all the Spartans within the Spartan collection, you can actually push out. So if you wanted to give Emile a pistol, you can actually pop the side armor right here, and it'll expose. And if you don't want it, you could just put it back in, which I think is the coolest feature, I think, from these figures from Wicked Cool Toys, is that they have the multiple storing options, especially on the back too, of where you can store the shotgun if you just want him posed in the kunai, which is normally how I have him. Because I just have Jerome, who has another shotgun, so it kind of like changes it up a little. But yeah, the details on the figure are really cool. Like, no doubt in my mind, when I see this figure, I can definitely tell it's Emile. There is a few. The only problem I have is really the kind of missing paint, like little missing pattern right here. But either way, it's kind of okay. It's still a good molded piece. Like, the detailing on everything is really cool. I just wish it had that little pattern in it. That's just me. It's just a small complaint, but yeah, that's some of the details of Emile. I think this is a beautiful looking figure, really great. I think they continuously, compared to that first Master Chief figure, they continuously step up their attention to detail and how the figure looks, and it looks like Emile from Reach, which looks really good. So with the details out of the way, let's jump into articulation. Okay, so Emile can look up actually quite a bit. He can look up really good. He can also look down too. He can hit his head is on a ball joint, so he's able to rotate around, so you can get him into like kind of looking poses, which is really, really good. Kind of not a swivel, but like once again, you also his arms move out, double jointed elbows, and this is what I'm talking about mainly, to see that the arms, like if I showed the Mark 5B, which that figure I have has very loose articulation, his arms wouldn't be able to do this because of how loose the articulation is. But it is really, really cool. Hands are on a wrist, on a peg, and they can move. They can hinge up and down for whatever needs you need to make, and they also pop out very easy for articulation. Shoulder, this actually, the right arm actually has the same amount of range, which is really, really cool to see, even with the big old shoulder piece here, but same articulation pretty much here and there, which looks really, really cool. So you can get him in a pose of where he's like about to pull out his kunai, which looks really, really kind of. It is a little hindrance just because of the chest, which makes sense, but ultimately that's kind of okay. His legs can move out that far. You can't move them back too well. I mean, he can do that. You can move them to the side because there is that little bit of a swivel right here on the thigh, but it is in its own separate piece. He does have double jointed knees, which is really, really cool. And he also, his feet can move up, down, and he does have a beautiful ankle pivot, which is really, really good for what you want for this Spartan, because usually you can, you can almost get him in a split, like a Jean-Claude Van Damme pose, which looks really, really funny. But yeah, articulation is really, really good. I feel like they've been stepping it up. The figure is like really solid in comparison to, I think, the Series 1 figures, which I think is a very, very good thing. Wicked Cool Toys continues to do such a great job on that. They did show Series 3, where there's going to be Sarah Palmer, a new Master Chief, of course, and a few Mark 5B repaints, and also one that may be possibly Noble 6, but nobody's saying it's Noble 6 because it just says Mark 5B, but it's Noble 6. So, but yeah, it's really, really cool. I really love it. This figure is really, really great, solid articulation. So with that out of the way, with the articulation and everything, details it out of the way, let's get into some size comparisons, see what he scales with. Emile compared to some other figures from different companies. Of course, we have the Scar from NECA, of course, the Scar Predator from NECA from AVP. We have the Todd McFarlane designed Batman from McFarlane Toys, of course, and we have the SH Monster Art Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. So yeah, he is a little bit smaller in comparison to some other this guy is actually designated as a 6.5-inch figure. He is a little tinier in comparison to Batman and the Scar Predator, specifically the Scar Predator, specifically the Batman figure, because usually these Wicked Cool Toys, they're marketed as 6.5 inches, but they actually scale a little bit bigger. They're actually closer to 7-inch figures, in my opinion. So it is really, really cool to see these guys all next to each other. Alright, and here is Emile compared to some other Spartans from the Wicked Cool Toys Spartan collection. Of course, we have the Gunner. Right here we have the Mark 7, the Mark 5B, Cat, Master Chief, and Jerome. So it is really, really cool to see all these different Spartan figures. It's really cool to see the variations, everything. It's really cool to have these two next to each other, and even this guy too. If you want to count this guy as your Noble 6, that's completely cool. I do know there is one that is supposedly just called a Mark 5B armor, but it looks like it's Noble 6. There's no doubt it's not Noble 6. But it is really, really cool to see all these guys together, especially, I love the amount of detail that they've been paying attention to Wicked Cool Toys, to Halo Reach, which is really, really cool because it kind of makes sense, because the first season of Halo Infinite is going to be completely Reach-based, which is going to be super, super cool. Once again, I can't wait for Halo Infinite to come out. Like, just these figures, let alone just seeing like of what we get a preview of, especially like these guys right here, of what we might get in multiplayer, is super, super cool. And here we have Emile fighting side by side with Cat and Noble 6. So it is really, really cool to have all these figures together, especially the Cat and the Emile. And also, like, just having my stand-in Noble 6 with the Mark 5B armor looks really, really cool. So overall thoughts with the Emile figure, I think it's a really, really great figure, really, really cool. Scales really well with the other figures. It's really cool to see him and Cat next to each other. As I said, the figure continues to be showing Wicked Cool Toys improving with the Halo line, which is something you want with a toy line, definitely. The articulation is really, really great. One minor gripe, which is just the missing of the paint detailing right here, but even then, it's just a small detail compared to an overall great figure, I think. So if you're definitely a fan of Halo Reach, if you love Noble Team, if you're just looking to replace your McFarlane figures for some reason, and you just want a new kind of Noble Team in general, get these guys. I think these guys are really, really great. Should be one that looks like a little bit more like Noble 6, coming out soonish. It's supposed to be a part of Series 3 with Sarah Palmer and a few Sarah Palmer, Master Chief, and I think another Mark 5B that will be in Halo Infinite, so it'll be very interesting going forward to see. So yeah, that's it. That is the Figure Review Friday today. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I know I had a fun time filming it, so with that being said, make sure to check us out on Instagram. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit the little bell notification so you get notified when Mythical Mountain Mondays, What's in Box Wednesdays, and Figure Review Fridays come out. Also check us out on Instagram too, GVKcollectibles and Jack's Pop Guy. Also check us out on Mercari as well. We have a lot of great stuff posted there. And also check me out on Facebook too. Links will all down be below. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great, safe weekend, and hopefully it's cool. Hopefully you be safe out there as always, and peace.